What if Anakin told Yoda he had visions of Yoda's own death? What would have happened then? Let's find out. The centuries had brought little change to Master Yoda's modest quarters. Anakin Skywalker sat across from the Grand Master in the sparse room, the vision from the night before still vivid in his mind. Premonitions, Yoda intoned. These visions you have, they are of pain, suffering, death, Anakin replied. Yourself you speak of, or someone you know? Anakin hesitated, weighing his response. Someone. Close to you? Yes, he admitted. Careful you must be when sensing the future, Anakin. The fear of loss is a path to the dark side. I won't let these visions come true, Master Yoda, Anakin pressed. Death is a natural part of life, Yoda began his sermon. Rejoice for those around you who transform into the Force. Mourn them, do not. Miss them, do not. Attachment leads to jealousy. The shadow of greed, that is. Anakin fought to hide his mounting frustration. Rejoice in Padme's death? The Grand Master might as well have advised him to celebrate having his heart ripped out. Better to leave and get Obi-Wan to search the restricted archives for something actually useful. Yes, Master, I will meditate on this, Anakin replied, his voice neutral despite the hollow feeling spreading inside him. What had he even expected? That Yoda would suddenly abandon centuries of Jedi philosophy to help him save Padme? The regret of coming here at all churned in his stomach, but regret quickly curdled into something sharper. If Yoda wouldn't help him, fine, but perhaps the ancient master deserved a taste of his own philosophy. He stood and offered a formal bow, then, with calculated hesitation, added, But I wonder who I will go to for advice in grave matters, such as this, once you are gone. Yoda's head snapped toward him. What do you mean, Anakin? It's yourself I saw in my vision, Master, Anakin confessed. The lie flowed more easily than he expected. Oh, Yoda went rigid. Tell me more, you must. Anakin suppressed a triumphant smile. I saw you engulfed in flames, Master. The fire consuming your robes first, then your skin, your eyes. They melted, but somehow the screaming continued. It transformed into something indescribable. Not quite sound, not quite silence. It went on for what felt like an eternity before everything finally went quiet. He paused, adding just the right touch of haunted confusion. I felt like I was there. The feeling was so real. Yoda looked away with a tremor Anakin didn't miss. Centuries of detachment, colliding with primal fear. Yeah, rejoice in that, Master, Anakin thought, before arranging his features into sympathetic concern. I will meditate on this and come to terms with your imminent passing, Master. Anakin turned to leave. Wait, you must? Yoda called out. Told this to anyone else, have you? No, Master, just you. We must keep it that way. Yoda's clawed hand moved to his chin, stroking it frantically. Should not waste anyone's time with this. Important matters of war they have. Let's not distract them. His ancient eyes moved suspiciously toward the closed door. 900 years had taught him betrayal came from anywhere. He'd orchestrated some himself. Mundi and his fire worship seemed obvious, but who else conspired with him? Any council member could be plotting his fiery end. No one could know he had been warned. Only Skywalker, the one who warned him, could be trusted. Accepting the natural flow of the Force does not mean ignorance of its patterns, Yoda added, his philosophical tone cracking. Even when death comes, understanding its mechanisms, a valuable research opportunity it presents, knowledge of how one perishes. He paused, swallowing hard. Enlightenment it brings to the Order. Yes, for posterity's sake, investigate this vision. We must... Anakin nearly laughed at the hypocrisy. When it was someone else's loved one, death was natural, a cause for celebration even. But when faced with his own demise, the ancient master suddenly found merit in investigation. Then, like a lightsaber snapping to life, Anakin saw it. Leverage. If Yoda was this desperate, perhaps he wouldn't need Obi-Wan's help after all. Perhaps, Anakin suggested, I could research this matter in the archives while I await my next assignment. The ancient texts might contain knowledge about influencing such visions, though I suspect the most relevant texts would be in the restricted areas, those requiring master-level clearance. He kept his expression earnest, a perfect soldier offering aid to his commander. Yes, Yoda nodded with uncharacteristic vigor. Need the rank? You do for that. Grant it, I do. Capable Jedi, you are. To ensure Anakin's full commitment, he added, It was Obi-Wan who didn't want the rank given to you. Anakin's eyebrows shot up in surprise. Was it true? Had Obi-Wan, his mentor, his brother, been secretly undermining him while professing unwavering support? The thought opened a chasm of questions. Perhaps, as he had often suspected, Obi-Wan was a people-pleaser when it came to the Council, cultivating his own reputation as the wise voice of reason by holding back the impulsive chosen one. An intriguing thread to pull, but Anakin mentally filed it away. That betrayal, if real, was a story for another time. Right now, he had leverage over a panicking Grand Master and a path to the knowledge he truly needed. The rest could wait. "Yes, Master Skywalker you are," Yoda declared. "Into the archives we must go immediately. A matter of order stability this is. If perish I do during wartime, catastrophic for morale it would be. The timing, most inconvenient. For the Republic's sake, perhaps postpone this vision. We must. Not avoiding death, you understand. Merely rescheduling it, for strategic purposes only. A Jedi thinks of the greater good, yes." He nodded, as if trying to convince himself. "The war effort requires my continued presence. Most unfortunate timing for a fiery demise. Most unfortunate indeed." Anakin nodded solemnly, though inwardly he was almost giddy. His spur-of-the-moment deception had not only worked, but gained him far more than he'd dared hope for. Sometimes the Force really did work in mysterious ways. They hurried to the archives, where Jocasta Nu regarded them with curiosity. At Yoda's instruction, she accessed the sacred registry of Force-sensitive practitioners and ordained guardians of the Republic, a spreadsheet containing every Jedi's basic information. She pulled up Anakin's profile and, with a few keystrokes, changed a single letter beside his name, from K to M. Just like that, Anakin Skywalker officially became a Jedi Master. Inside the restricted section, Yoda immediately logged in at a terminal. "Precedent. Must be precedent somewhere," he muttered. Anakin had a different strategy in mind. Ancient wisdom through holocrons, specifically Sith holocrons, would be more valuable than the Jedi terminals, whose algorithms were certainly biased. "I'll search a different section," Anakin told Yoda, who merely grunted in acknowledgement, engrossed in his research. Anakin made his way to the Sith holocrons, ancient archives section. No more Jedi platitudes. Tall shelves formed narrow corridors, small research alcoves carved into the spaces between. He moved down an aisle, examining labels until he found the oldest collection. Artifacts dating back at least 10,000 years. The more ancient, the better. Knowledge from when the dark side was less restrained, more honest about its methods. He grabbed the first tetrahedron his eyes landed on. Smooth obsidian surfaces covered in intricate gold geometric etchings, and tapped its activation node. A small depression at the apex. Red light flooded the obsidian from within, turning the dark glass crimson, etchings standing out like veins. For a moment he felt like he was holding forbidden knowledge itself, ancient power that the Jedi had locked away for good reason. "Hello, stranger," a melodious female voice emanated from the device. "I am Darth Vernessa, or what remains of her." "Who?" Anakin stammered, surprised by its immediate response. "I just told you, child," the voice replied with ancient patience. "I am Darth Vernessa's holocron. The more relevant question is, who are you, and what do you seek?" Anakin glanced around, furtively, hearing what sounded like Yoda cursing from down the hallway. He started to speak quickly, panic in his voice. "I had a vision of my pregnant wife." "Hey, breathe," the holocron interrupted gently. "You're very stressed. Just breathe for a moment." Surprised by the Sith's tone, Anakin took a deep breath and let his shoulders relax. "That's better. Now find yourself a chair and sit down. You don't have to hold me like I'm going to run away. Just set me on a desk or something so we can have a proper conversation." "Oh, sure, my lord," Anakin replied automatically, looking around for a suitable sitting area. "It's my lady," she corrected with gentle amusement, "though I appreciate the respect." Anakin spotted one of the alcoves, walked over, and placed the holocron on its desk before settling into the chair. "There we go," she said. "Much better. Now, take your time and tell me what's troubling you." "I had a vision of my pregnant wife screaming and dying in childbirth. I need to prevent it." "I see," the holocron replied thoughtfully. "What killed her exactly?" "Childbirth, I assume," Anakin said. After a pause, he admitted, "I didn't actually see her die. I saw her scream in pain, then I woke up and assumed she was dying." The holocron's voice softened. "Screaming during childbirth is quite common. When I had my third child, I screamed so loudly the palace staff thought I was being disemboweled." Vernessa's voice filled the space as she explained how overwhelming stress could conjure nightmares that felt prophetic. And even if it were prophetic, which it clearly wasn't, he hadn't seen death, only screaming, completely normal for childbirth. She prescribed a specific blend of root tea, valerian, chamomile, and a pinch of something called Alderanian sweetgrass that would help calm both his nerves and his connection to the Force. She gave detailed instructions for brewing it, lamenting with a laugh that she would have made him some herself. But she hadn't had arms for over 10,000 years now, which really did limit one's hospitality options. Relief flooded through Anakin as the conversation wound down. "That's really all there is to it?" he asked. "Really," she confirmed. "Very normal. Get some sleep. You and your wife will be fine." I don't know how to thank you." "Then don't," she replied with a chuckle. "Is there nothing I can do for you?" "Well," Vanessa began, "I've been sitting on that shelf for a long time. Last time I woke up was when two Jedi who seemed to miss each other very much barged in here and made quite the ruckus. That was at least 400 years ago. Perhaps you could take me somewhere with a better view." Anakin agreed readily. "Of course. I'll show you my home." "Wonderful, thanks. Oh, but I never caught your name. What should I call you?" "Anakin Skywalker." "What a lovely name. Tell me more about yourself." "You first," Anakin said, starting to pocket the holocron. "Sure, but prepare yourself. I lived for 432 years, so this might take a while." Another string of creative curses echoed from Yoda's direction down the corridor. "Shh, stay quiet till we're out of here," Anakin whispered. "Of course," Vanessa whispered back. "My lips are sealed. Well, metaphorically speaking." Anakin grabbed 3 more holocrons for good measure, then sought out Yoda, who looked deeply agitated at his terminal. "I'll research these in my quarters and call if I discover anything useful," Anakin announced, holding up the small collection of ancient artifacts. The holocron in his pocket remained silent, though he could swear he felt a faint warmth of amusement radiating from it. Yoda looked up from the terminal, which had been bombarding him with consent forms about dark side exposure every time he tried to access a new page. Warning after warning about corrupted knowledge, psychological contamination risks, and liability acknowledgements. He'd spent more time clicking accept than actually researching. "Look into Sith holocrons, I will as well," Yoda declared in frustration. "Full of bureaucratic nonsense. The Jedi database is..." Anakin nodded and left, tossing the 3 holocrons into a flimsy plastic bag he found nearby. It had been holding some kind of cards, but he figured those could sit on a shelf. He needed the bag more. The thought of mentioning the vision had been fabricated never crossed his mind. After all, the Grand Master seemed to be rejoicing quite enthusiastically in the natural cycle of death. Why interrupt that? The chrono chimed its hourly announcement from somewhere on the floor, 2 in the afternoon, a muffled sound that reached Yoda's ears without truly registering. At some earlier point, perhaps the 4th or 5th hour of his increasingly desperate research, he had ripped the timepiece from the wall and hurled it across the chamber, when its periodic chiming disrupted his concentration. The device now lay dented against the far wall, stubbornly continuing its duty despite the abuse. 7 hours into his search, he had consulted dozens of holocrons, each offering nothing but meaningless abstractions. The path to what you seek lies in the darkness beyond the event horizon of despair. True sight comes only when one embraces the void within the void. The answer you seek dwells in the shadow of tomorrow's regret. Not a single clear answer about altering Force visions. Not one practical method. Just riddles that made his head pound. Useless philosophical bullshit, Yoda had shouted minutes earlier. And now he sat slumped on the floor among the scattered holocrons, too exhausted by his fury to even stand. His comm chimed. Council meeting. Yoda cursed under his breath but decided to attend. Better assess the potential threats himself. A fire extinguisher mounted on the nearby wall caught his eye. He wrenched it free using the Force and tucked it protectively under his arm. The council sat assembled when he entered. Every conversation ceased as heads turned toward their Grand Master. Yoda calmly took his seat, positioning the bright red extinguisher beside his chair, his clawed hand resting near the discharge lever. Ki-Adi-Mundi's azure hologram regarded the extinguisher with undisguised contempt. Yoda caught the look. Mundi practiced the doctrine of luminous purification, a philosophy that advocated ritual immolation to burn away darkness and impurity. He'd always thought it was pretentious nonsense, dressed up as spirituality, but now those flame-obsessed beliefs seemed decidedly threatening. "Something to say, have you, Master Mundi?" Yoda challenged. "Master Yoda must remove that thing immediately," Mundi insisted stiffly, pointing an accusatory finger at the fire extinguisher. "It is an insult to my people and our traditions." "Go f*** yourself in the face, you can," Yoda spat. "The Grand Master, I am. Your ceremonial burning and flamethrowers. Pathetic edgy activities these are." What followed was an increasingly heated exchange that devolved from religious philosophy to creative profanity, with Mundi rigidly defending his fire worship while Yoda clutched his extinguisher and questioned everyone's intelligence until accusations of incompetence and senility started flying. Mace Windu finally intervened. "If we could focus on the matters at hand," Windu pressed. "Chancellor Palpatine has been trying to reach Anakin Skywalker, but no one has seen him since morning. Palpatine wants to appoint Anakin to the Council, which offers us an opportunity to have him spy on the Chancellor." "On important assignment, Skywalker is," Yoda interrupted. "No time for this political circus, has he?" He couldn't risk Anakin abandoning his research into what Yoda now believed might save his life. Mace tried to argue, but Yoda shouted him down repeatedly. "What else?" Yoda demanded impatiently. Ki-Adi-Mundi, apparently not intimidated by Yoda's earlier outburst, mentioned the droid attack on the Wookiees. "You should probably go to Kashyyyk, Master Yoda, since you deal with the Order's investments on that planet." "I'm not the only one benefiting off of that hellhole, am I?" Yoda barked, his syntax deteriorating with his temper. "Master Obi-Wan can go since he likes to sit there and pretend to be useful. Go negotiate with the droids or something." With that, he hopped off his chair, grabbed the fire extinguisher, warned them not to call him up with pointless bullshit again, and stormed out. As the doors hissed closed behind him, Obi-Wan sat dejected, wounded by harsh words from an authority figure he'd always respected. Back in the archives, everything remained untouched. By midnight, 16 hours into his fruitless quest, Yoda sat exhausted on the floor, back propped against a shelf, a mountain of discarded holocrons to his left. The latest, Darth Craven the Magnificent's tetrahedron, had only offered, "The answer dwells not in knowing, but in the unknowing of what cannot be unknown," before joining the pile. Then something changed. One holocron began to snicker, a low, amused sound that grew into full laughter. Others joined in until the chamber echoed with the mirth of ancient dark spirits. "What is so amusing?" Yoda shouted. "Oh, you poor thing," one wheezed between laughs. "We have no idea how to alter Force visions either. None of us do. Not Jedi, not Sith." "Completely impractical," another holocron chimed in. Yoda's rage boiled over as the truth sank in. They'd been toying with him for hours, bored spirits, amusing themselves with his terror, because they only had each other for company in this place. "We've been having such fun," one admitted, gleefully. Yoda raised his Geimer stick to smash the nearest mocking holocron when one from the pile spoke up. "But wait," Darth Lily's voice. "We can't alter your vision, but we can give you a way to survive whatever you've foreseen." Yoda froze. "Speak." "Force training." "The ritual of Darth Vitiate," came the response. "Unimaginable power, the ability to do anything. Transfer your spirit into any body, for example. And think carefully, your vision showed only flesh burning, yes? Perhaps your spirit had escaped already. Perform this ritual, and you can ensure that happens. However, the technique does require a significant sacrifice. You must channel the life energy of your fellow Jedi into yourself. But you Jedi are all about noble sacrifice, aren't you? For the greater good and all that. So this should align perfectly with your philosophy." "Lady Lily, you're ruining our fun," Darth Melkor's holocron interrupted, irritated. "He suffered enough," Lily replied firmly. "This is why your handmaidens betrayed you," another voice chimed in, Darth Brennick's. "Always too soft, always helping when you should be watching them squirm. And yet, here we all are, on the same shelf." "How the hell did that happen?" Lily said pointedly. "So, save your judgment and let me finish. Now, Yoda, as I was saying, this ritual grants godlike powers, so listen carefully while I outline exactly how to perform it." Yoda's conscience stirred briefly as he listened. This would kill every Jedi in the temple, thousands of innocent lives, but on the other hand, he wouldn't have to burn to death. And with such power, he could easily locate and eliminate Darth Sidious, ending the war and saving billions from suffering. So in a calculus of morality, by sacrificing thousands, he would save billions. Yes, that was the reason, the only reason, Yoda nodded to himself, the rationalization settling comfortably over his fear like a well-worn robe. When Lily finished explaining the ritual, her voice turned encouraging. "Yoda," she cheered, as if at a sporting event. The other holocrons joined in, their crimson glow pulsing with each chant. Yoda rose to his feet, energized by their support. Yes, he could do this. He gathered the ritual artifacts and identified his location. The Tranquility Spire, the temple's sacred heart, where Jedi presence concentrated most powerfully, perfect for what needed to be done. And then Lady Crenara walked into the kitchen to see her lord husband, Darth Ralador, coupling with her sister, Lady Thalassa, on the kitchen table. The holocron continued, its glow illuminating the darkened bedroom. Anakin sat with his back against the bed's headboard, completely enthralled. But she forgave him after he swore they'd been mind-controlled by Lord Crathan. But then it happened again. Same table, same sister, same day. And then they all got into a lightsaber duel and killed each other. "Oh, but wait," Anakin said eagerly. "What happened to the other sister, Nexia?" "Well, Anakin, that's where it gets interesting. Turns out, Anakin, will you turn off your evil cube? I can't sleep." Padme interrupted from beside him, a wet towel draped over her entire face to soothe her headache and block the holocron's persistent red glow. "It's not a cube, Padme," Anakin said politely, holding the glowing device up and moving it slightly closer to her. "It's a tetrahedron." Vernessa redirected her attention. "And how are you, my dear?" it asked Padme directly. "I have a headache," Padme groaned to the holocron. "Anakin's been home 2 days. 2 days spent terrified over a dream that I told him, right away, was just normal pregnancy. But he didn't believe me. He believed you. Now he's keeping me awake, talking to you. The rest of the time, Jedi business, which means drunk in the Outer Rim somewhere." "Is this true, Anakin?" "No," Anakin protested. "The war keeps me very busy, and I was damn near scared to death of losing you. I did nothing but search for solutions until Lady Vernessa explained things to me." "I told you the same thing," Padme said wearily. "I had to be sure," Anakin replied defensively. Padme just gave up and went silent. "Oh, don't be too hard on him, dear. These kinds of visions only manifest when someone loves another person so deeply that they can't bear the thought of losing them. Anakin was just being paranoid." "Did your husband ever get visions like that, Lady Vernessa?" Padme asked, her voice slightly muffled by the towel over her face. Vernessa laughed. "Oh goodness, no. Back in my day, such emotions were considered absolutely disgusting among the Sith. We never smiled, never said a kind word to each other. We wanted to, mind you, but if we did, we'd have to kill each other for showing weakness." "That sounds terrible," Padme said, now more engaged. She pulled the towel from her face and sat up fully, the headache momentarily forgotten as she leaned against Anakin's shoulder. "Were all Sith relationships so cold?" "Most were far worse, young Amidala." The conversation flowed from there, with Padme and Anakin asking questions about ancient Sith customs and daily life. Eventually, their discussion meandered to more personal topics, including Padme's homeworld. "Ah, Naboo," Vernessa exclaimed fondly. "I was there once. Lovely planet. I especially enjoyed the Gungan stew they used to make." A horrified pause. Then Vernessa laughed. "I'm joking." "Oh, you should see your faces. Well, I can't actually see them, but I can feel them." Anakin and Padme exchanged a glance, then laughed along with the ancient Sith spirit. When the laughter faded, Padme's hand moved to her swollen belly. "Did you have children?" she asked, curiosity piqued by the holocron's warmth. 32 over the course of my 4 centuries, Vernessa replied cheerfully. "Only 5 survived, though." "Oh, I'm so sorry," Padme said sympathetically. "I'm sorry too for them, since it was me who killed them all." They laughed, assuming it was another joke. No, this actually happened," she continued matter-of-factly. "I challenged all my children to duels when they reached 20. None of them could beat me, so they had to die. The last 5 were smart. They attacked me together. I could have killed them, but I made a bet with myself that I could fight all 5 with one hand tied behind my back. Turned out I couldn't. Long fight, but I lost in the end." She sighed. "I had this habit of making arbitrary challenges for myself, even when my life depended on not doing that." "Oh," Padme said quietly. Anakin quickly steered the conversation toward lighter topics, sharing stories about Jedi training and the ongoing war efforts. Vernessa listened with interest, commenting on how brutal it sounded. "Well, things aren't too bleak in the temple," Anakin started with a grin, explaining how he'd pranked Master Yoda earlier that day. "At 900 years old, he's still scared of death," Padme chuckled. "Well," Anakin shrugged, "being set on fire would scare anyone." "Wait," Vernessa's voice sharpened with curiosity. 900 years? How'd he manage that? "It's just his species," Anakin explained. "He's naturally long-lived." "What species?" "I don't know the name. No one does," Anakin said. "Small. Green. About 2 feet tall. 3 fingers." He looked at Padme for help. "He carries a stick," Padme added. "Looks like some form of tree creature, very wrinkled. Oh, and he speaks strangely. His words are all backwards." "Oh, well that's not good," Vernessa said. "Why? What's wrong?" Anakin asked. "Why is he still alive?" Vernessa demanded. and in a position of power, no less. The couple said nothing, waiting for her to explain. Realizing they didn't understand the danger, Vanessa's voice turned urgent. What you're dealing with is called a minch. They're formed directly from light-side energy, something to do with convergences at force nexuses or light-side shrines. Very effective light-siders, naturally, but after 600 years, they go insane. They must be retired, if you catch my meaning, before that point. By the time they start speaking backwards, it's already very late. This Yoda should have been put down centuries ago. This was documented extensively in my time. There's absolutely no information about Yoda's species anywhere, Anakin explained. No classification, no homeworld, nothing in any record we have. The records were purged then, Vanessa said grimly. If I had to guess, I'd say the other holocrons have told him about mass force training to prevent his death. It's all the rage among Sith. Ever since that business with Vitiate, everyone thinks it's the ultimate solution. There are other methods, like essence transfer, but that's widely regarded as a big move, so they won't have suggested that. Anyway, these creatures are extremely unstable at 900 years, and if they're frightened on top of that, he won't hesitate. All your Jedi philosophy won't matter to him anymore. He's likely preparing to drain the life force of every Jedi in that temple right now. Good thing you're not there. I strongly suggest you get off this planet immediately, just to be safe. Oh, come on. Can't be that bad, Anakin dismissed with a wave. At that precise moment, a massive disturbance rippled through the Force, as if thousands of voices cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. You were saying? Vanessa remarked dryly. A hollow feeling settled over Anakin as he rose from the bed, rubbing his eyes. What the hell was that? Anakin, what's happening? Padme asked. Vanessa's voice remained steady. What I said would happen. He killed every Jedi in the temple. She paused, then continued in a reassuring tone. This is a very normal progression, actually. Something like this was bound to happen. Your prank or not, a minch that old, it was inevitable. The good news is it's over. He wouldn't have had time to set up a planetary-scale ritual. You two are always going to be safe out here. Don't stress yourselves, especially you, dear, she added. There's nothing to fear now. Anyone who completes that ritual, they don't stick around. Anakin was still reeling when the air in the center of their bedroom began to shimmer and distort. Golden light poured from nowhere and everywhere, simultaneously, coalescing into the form of Master Yoda. The ancient master hovered above the floor, his body radiating power so intense it made the air crackle. Skywalker, his voice thundered through the space. Lie to me, you did. Padme grabbed Vanessa's holocron and climbed out of bed, squinting at the glowing figure. Her headache was already returning. All these damn lights weren't helping. What the f***? Master Yoda, the hell did you do? Anakin stammered. What I had to, Yoda replied. To stop the war, yes. You killed thousands of Jedi. Shut up, you must. Your lie caused this, Yoda shot back. No, Vanessa interrupted. Your actions caused this, Minch. Anakin was merely trying to expose your hypocrisy. Can you argue otherwise? Leave him and go. Yoda flicked his hand impatiently. All this was the will of the Force. Sidious was Palpatine all along, and Grievous is on Utapau. He snapped his fingers, the casual gesture incongruous with his now divine presence. Dead. They both are now. Saved billions I have. Huh? Anakin said. Departing for a higher realm beyond physical existence. I am, Yoda announced. But I thought I would say farewell to you, Skywalker. Since you facilitated this transformation. He didn't cause anything, Vanessa interjected. You chose to murder thousands of innocents. Before I depart, I will grant you 3 wishes, Skywalker. Ask. Anakin stood frozen, his mind blank. What do I even... All of eternity to stand here, I do not have, Yoda interrupted impatiently. Speak. Immortality, Anakin blurted. For Padme and me. No, Anakin. We could still age, just not die. Ask for eternal youth, Padme said immediately, still clutching Vanessa. Right, Anakin said quickly, turning back to Yoda. Eternal youth, then. For both of us. Yoda waved his hand. Done. 1 wish remains. Hurry. Much to explore. I have. Anakin, Vanessa called. Ask if I can have my body back and be immortal too. Anakin glanced at the pyramid in Padme's arms, then back at the glowing form of Yoda. That's 2 wishes, Yoda said with a hint of annoyance, but approved. He waved his hand again, then his form began to dissolve into pure light. Enjoy this trash world, his voice echoed as his presence faded entirely from the room and from the galaxy. Padme's scream made Anakin whirl around. Where she'd been clutching the holocron, her hands were now empty, and a figure stood before her. Tall, unmistakably human, clad in dark robes with intricate golden embellishments that caught what little light filtered through the windows. The woman's short-cropped black hair framed a face half hidden in shadow, features obscured by the dim room, except for her eyes. They glowed red like burning coals, unblinking in the darkness. "Don't worry, dear," Darth Varnessa said, turning to Padme. "I'm a lot nicer than I look." She flexed her fingers experimentally, then began jumping around the room, excited. "This feels incredible. Thanks, Anakin." "Are those stairs?" She strode toward the door. "Hey, no, get back here," Padme called after her. "You'll scare my friends." She hurried after the ancient Sith, surprisingly spry for a woman in her third trimester. Anakin watched his wife chase after their new, immortal Sith family advisor, then looked out the window at the Coruscant skyline. He mused to himself. "Certainly has been an interesting 20 hours. Palpatine was the Sith Lord, huh? Who knew?" He was mildly surprised by how little he felt about any of it. But hey, at least everyone he cared about was immortal and well. Meanwhile, on Kashyyyk, Obi-Wan Kenobi was jolted awake from his alcohol-induced coma by a massive disturbance in the Force. He sat up, felt the cosmic wrongness of whatever had just occurred, then looked at the bag of spice Chewbacca had thoughtfully provided. He snorted some, lay back down, and went to sleep.